So I think one of the things that we struggle with is, by the way, Happy New Year. It is 2023, January 1st, 2023, which is crazy. But I wanted to talk about, many of us struggle with finding the right combination of how much we should consume of resources. So I find that people consume, and there's no right amount, and this is the thing, right? Like there is nobody telling you what is the right amount, nobody that's sort of saying these are the guideposts. But, on one side, we get a lot of people that spend a whole bunch of money and consume much more than they take in. And, that leads to problems, a lot of different problems, financially, and having financial stability, making sure that you are, well adjusted. But then on the other side, and you probably see that just as equally as much, but, it's maybe not represented as much because you don't see these individuals, because they're not as flashy. You see the sort of opposite side where people save too much and, they consume too little for how much they actually bring in. It's probably, in modern culture that's not as common, but that still does happen. And the idea behind having resources at your fingertips, right? So, the amount of money that you bring in is figuring out ratios that you have of how much resources you should actually consume. Let's say you bring in X number of dollars from the salary that you have. Well, then you should figure out what is the right amount that you should save, consume, and, just have fun, right? Like, I think having those ratios or sitting down what is appropriate for you, and generally, somewhere in the sort of range of, saving 15%, making sure that you also have, for the long term, making sure that you have short-term emergency funds, and then, always making sure that you're consuming or having fun is a really healthy part of, living and having that sort of consumption pattern. Because a large part of life is about consumption and waste. And what reminds me of that is when you are teaching somebody, right? You're in kindergarten, and the first time we had my kids and they went to school, I was always amazed in how much waste that they would produce by going to school, but that was part of education. That they would, consume pencil crayons and paper, and then they do their nice little drawing, and then we throw it away. And to me, it seemed like a waste. But, a huge part of this is that is a natural part of life, is to go through and consume resources. It's not necessarily we want to sort of minimize that as much as we can, but it's also a very real part of life, is to have resources that we just consume for sheer pleasure or joy or whatever you want to call it. So I want you to sort of think about what is that happy boundary, or what are those happy amounts that you're both saving, making sure that in today, right? So saving is for long term. And then thinking about what you could do today, but then also having money that you spend on pleasure, on just pure conspicuous consumption, right? And thinking about those right amounts so that you can live your life and have sort of a happy life, whatever that looks like for you, and finding out those right amounts for you, right? So as long as you sort of aim for that 15% of saving of everything that you make, you're going to be good long term financially. But then thinking about in the short term, what is the right amount of just pleasure consumption, just having fun, is a healthy and perfectly good way to live. And I think we should sort of emphasize that sort of balance or ratios, or however you want to call it, the right mix that you have is appropriate. All right, take care and have a wonderful day. Bye.